If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Hey, beautiful people, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. How you all doing today? Today is for my American people. If you're currently in abroad and you've lived in America, how did you know? How did you click to you that damn, America actually messed me up real time? I know some of you have things to say. Kindly put your thought down in the comment section. But first, let's hear the first creator what she had to say about her own thoughts.
I'll go first. I live in Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US, and I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers. And it was very tragic news, but that day I also went to the movies, so I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw, and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. And I kept eyeing him the whole time, and he had his jacket open and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon, and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride, and then he takes it out, and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride. That's what happens in Poland, not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
In the years, America has been the dream country. Like, if you're not in America, if you have not been to America, if you're not planning to go to America, if you're not planning to run away and actually go to America, like you don't know what's going on, like you're not involved. But now America has actually changed. It's not like the way it used to be. I'm gonna play some stitches for you all to watch about what people actually think about America, people that have lived in America and they are currently in abroad.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I'm an American living in Germany. And I remember when I first got here, my landlord was showing us our new place where we're going to be staying. And as we're on our way driving there, we're passing all these fields and open grass areas and places where they've planted flowers and planted fruits and vegetables and trees, and there's just all these vast fields and hiking trails and stuff. And my landlord turns to me and says, hey, you and your family will enjoy this. You go out there, you can ride your bikes, you could pick fruit, you could walk all the hiking trails, you could pick the take photos and all kinds of stuff. And I looked at her and I said, my family, like people that look like us, is allowed to go out there and just, nobody bothers them or nothing happens, no cops are called or nothing like that. And she looked at me with like the saddest look in her eyes, and she was just like, people like you? What does that mean? And I looked at her and I'm like, people like us, black people. And she was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that there. But here you don't have to deal with that. So yes, please enjoy all of it. That really messed me up.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I'm American, my husband is Danish, we live in Copenhagen. Last night we were driving home, we're in the car, it's like 11 p.m. And there's a guy who appears to be like passed out, slumped against a wall in our neighborhood. My husband is like, oh, we should stop and see if he's okay. My first reaction was fear. I literally thought, what if this guy is faking it, and then when you go up to him to help him, he's gonna get up and mug you. So I'm like, okay, be careful. My husband goes over to the guy, I'm watching from across the street, and I can see that the guy kind of starts reaching behind him. What's my first thought? Gun. He's got a gun. He didn't have a gun, he was just trying to get up. He couldn't get up. At this point, it's pretty clear that he is super drunk. He's thrown up on himself. He's pretty much unresponsive. So then we're like, okay, he needs some help. He shouldn't be out here all night. And my husband suggests we call the police. Where does my mind go? If we call the police to get him help, what if they come here and escalate it and kill him? That doesn't happen here. We did call a non-emergency number and they sent someone for him. But my gut instinct is not to help someone because I could get hurt.
And currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Oh, I've got a couple. So I'm from Los Angeles and now I live in Austria. And basically when I first started working here, they were like, you get 25 days vacation, Fridays off early, and if you're sick, don't come into work. And I was just like, I was floored. Because in the US, you only get 10 days vacation and like 5 sick days, and you don't get 5 days off early. You better work your ass until it's 9 p.m. On top of all of that, all my friends here have like 2 masters, 3 PhDs, etc., 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 because education here is actually free. Amazing. What an amazing concept. In addition, I have yet to see a large homeless community out in the open here in Austria because the government actually offers some social support. A lot of social support. In LA, you have villages, streets, blocks full of homeless people because our government doesn't care about us. And here, people like don't measure their worth off the car they drive.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I grew up in southern Indiana, and I moved to London, England. So I just moved to England, and I made a lot of new friends. So I go to a party, this was like 3 years ago. And let's say one of my friends he drank too much water. And all my friends were taking care of him, including myself, and all of a sudden one of them goes, "Hey, we gotta call an ambulance." And I was like, "No, dude, like, do you know how much money that costs? Like, he just drank too much water, he's gonna be fine." And right when I said that, everyone looked at me and said, "Mate, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Dude, the ambulance is gonna cost like $3,000. And that was the moment I realized that England had free healthcare.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America...
Now, clearly, as you can tell by my accent, I am not from America, but I do have a story. Now, years ago, I used to work for this company, big international company, and they used to have a lot of their international employees come over to the UK to do secondments or secondments, whatever you call it. Now, the employees that naturally used to come over were mainly the Americans. Anyways, long story short, 2 girls came over, they work in my department, clearly American. I got on great with them, they became friends with me and 2 of my other colleagues that we were also friends. So we all got really close and we decided that we're going to show them the town and that we're going to go out and have some drinks. Mind you, I don't drink. And out of all the places we decided to go, we chose a pub in Brixton. So we hit the town, Brixton High Street. It was a vibe. It was great. After we chatted and laughed and had the best night of our lives, we decided to pack it up and go home. Now we're walking to the underground station in Brixton. If you know Brixton, you know where that is. And here comes a police car and an ambulance with flashing lights and sirens. Now obviously because she has photosensitive epilepsy, that shit set it off. And so she had a fucking seizure on the floor in Brixton and we had to call the ambulance for her. Now obviously me and my friend called the ambulance. Ambulance came, we went with her, sat in the hospital with her and everything. And make sure she was okay, because obviously she's here by herself. She doesn't have family members here, to check up on her. And at the end of the day, it is the right thing to do. Bro, you see when my girl came back to her senses and realized where she was, I kid you not, she lost her fucking mind. She went off. She was kicking off like, "I can't believe you did this to me. Why would you take me to a hospital? How did I get here?" And we told her, obviously, we booked an ambulance. And she's like, "Oh my God, why would you do that?" And for the longest time, me and my girlfriend was there looking at each other, baffled as hell. Like, did you want us to leave you on the pavement to die, bro? But she literally kept going on and on and on and screaming on top of her voice like, "I can't believe this. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I can't afford it. I can't afford it." She keeps saying, "I can't afford it." And we were mad confused. Like, what can you not afford? My girl proceeded to talk about the fact that they are going to send a bill to her house that she can't afford, and now she is in debt for the rest of her life. Again, me and my friend were sitting there confused as fuck. Come to find out, my girl was talking about getting charged for the treatment that she received from the hospital and the ride in the ambulance to the hospital. Bro, it took us about 25 minutes with a couple nurses and 1 doctor who clearly wasn't from the ward. He was just walking by to convince this girl that healthcare in the United Kingdom is fucking free. You don't get charged if you take an ambulance to the hospital, and you don't get charged in the hospital. It is completely free. Healthcare is free. Bro, you see when it finally sunk in and my girl understood what we were saying? Sis dead looked like Alice after she fell down the rabbit hole, bruv. It was like a whole new world for her, fam. People are legit scared for their lives if they were to get ill. But anyways, shout out to America.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America...
So I've been in Canada for about 1.5 years now. And one of the biggest things I notice now is just how spoiled and entitled Americans really are. It'd be the simplest things, like when you get to the crosswalk here and people are walking, people just stop and let them walk across the street. No matter if the lights turning, there's no honking, there's no anger. It's just you let people go 'cause it's the decent thing to do. People say please, thank you, sorry. Like it's a crazy thing that people make fun of Canadians for saying sorry all the time, but they really genuinely say sorry, please, thank you, excuse me, stuff like that. That should be basic shit, but nah, they don't really do that back home. Wildest part is I don't even miss it back home anymore. Like this is just home now.
A friend of mine that has lived in America and went to Canada for about 1 to 2 years and went back to America actually told me that he noticed in Canada people appreciate culture, appreciate tribe, because people different tribe come together and they're kind of friendly compared to America. But when it comes to America, everybody is minding their business, everybody doesn't care about anybody, and everybody just hates everybody. And that was like his own opinion telling me, because he was trying to tell me Canada, if you prefer Canada to America and all of that. So I would love to know what you all think down in the comment section. I want to know, if you've stayed in America, what's your own opinion? And if you've gone to abroad, other countries, and you've lived there as well, what is your take? How can you actually differentiate between that country? And so yeah, thank you all for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And of course, I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.